Every day, I come so close to telling you guys everything. Not that there's a lot to tell. I mean, when I grabbed this microphone, I was thinking about telling a story about pants. And how when I was younger, it used to be all baggy pants, and that fashions have sort of slimmed down as time goes on. I've embraced the idea of wearing skinny-legged pants, and one of my coworkers noticed. And I don't know. Is that important? Does it matter? It's not really, but it's what's going on. There's a lot of things going on. I don't mean to seem melodramatic or whatever. It's a lot of nothing, really. A lot of fascinatingly trivial stuff. What I'm wearing, what I'm eating. I do a sit-up every now and again. A couple in a row if I can manage. Getting a lot of sleep. Sleeping really well. Writing more. Not always good stuff, but it gets out there. Drawing a little bit. I don't know. I got home today and I just wasn't in the mood for anything, and this is pretty normal. You know, I spend my entire day on my feet, just being the interface with these people. You know, I get home and I still have to be, somebody. I have to be with my family and be really nice. I don't wanna be a dick. But it gets hard to put up with everything. Everyone. People out there are putting up with a lot more than I am, that's for damn sure. I'm not really going anywhere with this. This is probably the worst thing ever, and that's why I haven't said anything about it lately. It's because every time I think about typing or speaking it, it just seems so much smaller than it is in my head. That's the amazing thing, is that something can be so huge when you're thinking about it, and so time consuming and energy consuming and mental capacity consuming. And then when you try to breathe it out onto somebody else, it becomes such a small thing. What does it fucking matter if I was a little irritated at work or when I got home? You know? What, in the grand scheme of things, why should I bother anybody else with that? It's irksome sometimes, but it's not a problem. It's not keeping me from living my life. Nothing's keeping me from living my life, except for me. The decisions I make. Which for the most part involve getting up in the morning and going to work and coming home and eating dinner and watching TV and going to bed. Maybe a few moments in between for stuff that I want to do. But what do I want to do? What do I like? What makes me interesting? What makes me a person? Is it communicating? Is it saying this right now to people far away, some of whom I consider to be quite good friends at this point? I've been out a few times with this girl. I have mixed feelings about it. I'm sure she has mixed feelings about it too, because there are times when we just look at each other what are you? This isn't the way it's supposed to be, but it could be a lot worse, I guess. There are people that, as soon as you meet them, you just know that you don't really want to spend any more time with them at all if you can avoid it, and that's been a lot of my experience one way or the other. And this one I'm intrigued, because sometimes we do seem to get each other. There's a lot of common ground, sense of humor, world outlook. And then it's she talks about what music she likes or what, she does with her spare time. And it doesn't line up with me, and I'm like, is that important? Should I care about what concerts she goes to or where she wants to travel? Talking about travel, man, either you do it or you don't, and I don't think that's a necessary component for a full life. It helps. It's interesting. But it's if you're talking to somebody who travels a lot and you don't travel, they pity you, they look down on you, and they're like, why don't you travel? I'm just like, what am I gonna do? You know, I get out of here every once in a while. I went to New York. That's my big story. Went to Vancouver last year. You know, those are stories. Would I go to Japan or Thailand? Would I teach English abroad? I thought about it. And apparently I didn't end up doing it. And why not? I don't know, man. I just had it too good here. Why should there be a reason? Why should I have to account for myself? Why does it have to be a deep probing thing? You know, you can't just take somebody at their surface level and worry about the layers later. You know? Meeting people, getting to know people. It's not natural, you know? If you meet somebody out in the world, your first instinct isn't to have like a deep, you know, profound conversation with them. You know, you just want to share some laughs, kill some time, have a couple drinks. Suddenly, if you make it your mission to meet somebody, then they have to be the greatest person ever, or else you're incredibly disappointed. I don't know. I've met better people by accident than I ever have on purpose, that's for sure, and I'm sure that you're all pretty much the same. But the people I meet on accident, of course, aren't the ones I end up dating, because they're already taken, because they're cool enough to meet somebody on accident. I'm an unlucky guy. I don't think it's anything about me. I think it might just be my situation. The decisions I've made don't lend themselves to a lot of great outcomes. I'm very moderate. Very safe. I wish I could uproot. I wish I could just find what doesn't work and scalpel it out of my life and just fill it with something else. Go somewhere else. Take a bus trip across North America, you know, from here to the West Coast, California, Oregon, something like that, you know? See the Grand Canyon. That might be nice. So why don't I? Like, do I really like my job that much? What is the end game here, you know? Right until something somehow finds its way out into the universe? Complain on the internet? Talk about skinny pants? Invent people to have adventures for me? Is that what I do? Why am I okay with this? This is, oddly enough, 90% the life that I envisioned for at least part of it. Maybe not for as long as it's lasted, but at least a little bit. Just that I would have done something more worthy of notice by now. It's my fault I haven't. I got too okay with what I'm doing. I still am. Saying it out loud doesn't make it untrue. Doesn't make me resolve to fix it. You know, this isn't a big cathartic speech. It's something I've known for a long time. It's just I'm settled. A year and a week ago, I moved into this house and I got really comfortable and really exhausted from moving. If that hadn't happened, who knows if I would have done anything about it, but it did happen, and I was just like, let's not do that again for a while. So I'm here, and I'm settled. And a lot of my stuff is still in boxes, and I don't want to take it out of those boxes. Those boxes are the past. I don't know. If I just keep going and it breaks, then it'll break. Every week, I just say to myself, when is it going to happen? Maybe never. I wish I don't wish anything. Wishing's a dumb thing to say. Especially because you never know when an ironic genie might be around. There's room for improvement in my life. And maybe not even with a radical change, but there's room.